Welcome to the Out on a Limb podcast. We are all interconnected to a greater web of consciousness. Our aim is to open your mind to a new world through having open-minded discussions about what we perceive our reality to be.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Out on a Limb podcast, where my co-hosts just lose it every time I open.
That's right.
They just, yeah.
We're having
'cause
fun,
have
man.
Fun. That's right.
We're having fun.
Well, you all spoke and we listened because you guys had so much fun with our oracle card reading that we're going to do it again. We might just do it once a month for a couple of months, see how it goes.
I must say, I'm looking at the three of us, and it looks like a Smurf or Oreo. Black,
That's pretty
blue,
funny,
black.
yeah.
Anyway, I had to get that off my chest. Sorry.
I don't even know what to say to that.
And then it's kind of like those are reversed.
I'm verklempt.
Anyway.
I'm at a loss for words for once, actually.
Yeah, well, you said that we just had to, like, it's the humor, it's the lightness.
It's
and
the vibe.
You need that energy to let loose, I think.
Oh,
you don't want
for
to be
sure.
serious before
No,
you
no,
go
no,
into
no.
doing oracle
Exactly.
Matter of fact, a lot of mediums say that they listen to high energy
Yes.
music, or they dance,
Yes.
and they do things. We laugh, we giggle, we
Get
like to do
silly.
that on our
We talk
Thursday
about
message night.
That's right.
Smurf Oreos.
Anyway,
And I didn't introduce Will,
Hello.
Samantha, and Allison, your Out on a Limb podcast hosts, and we've picked some of our favorite decks because this is going to go out October 30th, so it's the last podcast before the election. So we thought it would be a nice idea. I know that when we did it last month,
yeah.
some of us were getting, particularly you, some information that was going to carry us over into November, but we'll see what's coming in specifically for November this time. We'll do generic messages for the audience, and then we'll see if we have time for a third draw if we need one. So we've all picked some of our favorites. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising because last time we did it, which was the first time, you said, oh, we're only going to do two. And I'm kind of going, no, we got to do like 3 or 4. And yet when we get into it and we each have these
There's a lot of
different
detail.
perspectives.
There's a lot of stuff that's coming.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And we'll see Will Conscious Channel again.
I know.
That was fun. It's always fun to watch.
I enjoy that. I have no idea where I'm coming from on this because I feel rusty, but
That's
I'm
true.
juicing it up here.
That's it.
It'll happen.
I have no idea.
All right. Is there anything else we need to debrief about, though, before we get into it?
Well,
don't know.
did what you said before the election, and Will goes,
Well, I
and
mean,
there's no
No.
about it. It's just, it is what it is.
yeah. I mean, and then I haven't listened to it, but from what I'm hearing, the collective's opening message was pretty good for October, leading into November. So it gives a
Oh,
good.
gosh, yeah. It
And I
was
was-
very high level.
I was listening to a couple of different astrologers, and they were saying that, that all of this, it really doesn't matter who's in office, that,
Yeah.
the collective change, is for this, not a rebirth, but
Oh, yeah. But
It-
it
we
is kind of, I think it's like
Yeah.
a rebirth.
there's going to
Up-leveling of
be
consciousness.
a lot of transformation, and one individual cannot stop that flow that's been
Right.
building.
Building,
So
And you could really view either candidate as a trigger for whatever needs to happen, right?
yep.
So if you can view it from that lens, instead of that your candidate won or lost, that we're going to get to the same place in the end. This ascension cannot be stopped. That message comes over and over and over.
Yeah, the train has left the station on that. And
Oh, yeah,
it's coming. So
And it's coming soon. We're still getting first wave end of the year.
Really? Jeez.
I know. I don't know what that looks like.
Well,
I don't know if I got my ticket for that or not. But
I do want to talk about that a little bit in another episode that's going to air a little bit later. We'll talk about that in more detail.
So many teasers.
right?
Speaking of teasers,
Oh boy.
and we're going to put this at the in the comments section, I guess, or the description.
Yeah. Well,
We are starting our 12-week origin story intensive book study again, second annual. We're going to start in January, go for 12 weeks, one for each of the starseed clusters. You don't want to miss it this time. We had, I think, 15 or so beautiful souls that joined us last time, and it was transformative. It was profound. If you are feeling a pull towards your galactic ancestry, you have got to join us. It is phenomenal to do this in person, especially in a small, intimate group setting via Zoom.
Yep.
We timed it at a time that would be perfect for anybody living in Europe. Australia, I'm not so sure. But anywhere in the U.S., you should be able to join us on a Sunday. So check that out at palmandlotus.com, and there should be a link there in the description. We'd love to see you.
Or theoriginstory.earth. It's there as well.
True. And if you want to.
I didn't know you had a separate one for that.
Isn't that
Oh,
great?
yeah. We stood that up shortly after we had.
That was our friend Jacqueline's
Jacqueline,
idea.
yeah. It was shortly as we were putting together the origin story class, or near the end of the origin. She had this.
So, yeah, several months
download.
after the book
So
came
we
out.
stood that up. And we were trying to get originstory.com, but that was already taken. And so then I'm looking through, I saw one called .earth. And I'm like,
That's
ooh.
kind of cool, right?
Well, because
Right.
then you got to do an origin story .mars, and so like channel for whatever the origin was of Mars.
Right?
No, well, true. That's
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah.
Because
You never
Earth,
know.
but that is what the origin story is about Earth,
Earth, yeah.
essentially, about a galaxy, but also about Earth, Earthlings, humans, humanity.
Yep, yep.
So on that you can register for the course.
That sounds funny, Earthlings. I just see that,
Earthlings.
you know, that Martian,
The little
from Bugs
green guy?
Bunny?
Yeah.
He just
We are Earthlings.
Earthlings.
I guess.
too
Is that
funny.
what they? Why do they get the ling? Where'd that come from? Because I'm trying to think. Is there any other country that we call them that, or we don't call them
Well,
Marslings, or
Well, there's
they're
no-
Venusians. They're not Venuslings.
it wouldn't sound right with Urshins.
Right.
Right?
And so
So-
or Eartherns.
Or there, I mean,
it's just funny.
Yeah.
Where do people come up with these words?
I'm sure there's an origin to it somewhere.
And you can also sign up for a galactic session, 30-minute session, if you're interested in diving deep into your two alignments.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff on that website. All right. Oracle card readings for November. All right, everybody want to pick a deck?
Do I have to?
I'm going to use my new, I just got a new deck. We had a friend of ours, Kathy, come up and do archetype class up here in the treehouse a couple weeks ago. And as part of that archetype class,
ball.
she recommended that every participant purchase Carolyn Mace's archetype cards. And I think they were on sale. You can get them, I want to say I got this for $20. That's not too bad.
Oh, on Hay House. Yeah.
So I think I will see what archetype is coming up for people. What archetype do we need to consider?
That's interesting.
So this is a different type of card deck.
So I had a fascinating, as we're shuffling cards, I had a fascinating conversation,
Fascinating.
right, with a gentleman prior to recording today. Possible collaboration between myself and several other people. We'll let you know when that comes out. But one of the individuals, his name is Anton, and he does human design. He does what else does he do? Astrology and all that. But he also talks about archetypes, and he was talking about the 46 something archetypes. Anyway, but he gets these downloads, human design archetype type of things that he gets downloads of. And it was very fascinating. So that's, we're going to secure him for one of our future podcasts.
Right,
And it's
'cause
going to be a
somebody-
fascinating conversation.
Somebody did ask about human design, and we don't know it. I don't know anything
I
about
don't
human
either.
design. So
I
we
run my human design. I'm a manifesting generator. I don't know what that means.
Right.
exactly.
Sounds
Everybody
pretty
can say
intense.
that. We all say that.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know what it means.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's going to come on and. Anyway, he said 46 archetypes. and
Something,
This has
46
74.
or 49, or I forgot, because
There are
it all
tons.
has to do with human design and the different archetypal structures, and he was
A lot.
talking about a lot. So it was fascinating, but it's so far out of my wheelhouse that we need him on to explain all that, so.
And there's so many different kinds of, or ways of expressing archetypes, because my sister-in-law, Kathy, she's into this thing called the keys.
Right,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And I
Gene
said,
keys.
yeah, and I
Yes.
said, oh, that's a type of archetype or
Is
an
it?
archetypal system. And she goes, well, no, it's different. And I'm like, it's another way to label
Yeah.
certain tendencies, group them together,
That's-
see similarities.
That's what it was. It was the
That's
Gene Keys
archetyping.
archetypal system that he was talking about, and then how human design factors into that. Because he said he gets these huge downloads of human design structures, and then
Oh,
he's able
wow.
to really pull them apart. Yeah, it's fascinating. I was just sitting with my jaw open because I was like, I don't understand, but it's amazing what you're getting. So I would love to dive into that. So, yeah.
Okay, so we're doing Energy of November
Energy of November.
and then riffing off of whatever comes up.
Exactly. Who wants to go first? Do you want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay. What do I get? Now, I saw this one before, and I mixed it in the deck. You guys saw me shuffling and everything.
It had to come out.
And I'm going to make a prediction off of this because I was asking, in my mind, I'm focused on the election. So y'all tell me who you think that is.
Let me see. I can't see it.
It's authority.
Oh, authority.
Interesting.
And when I looked
Interesting.
at it, I'm just doing this, who knows, but
Which deck is this? Because I want to take
This is-
better notes this time.
this is the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck by John Holland.
Okay.
And when I saw this, I was like, oh, okay, that's going to be an indicator of Trump for me. And then I just mixed everything up and it came up. And we said this is the energy of November. And okay, so maybe he's not, I can't say necessarily that means he's going to win.
No. Doesn't mean that at all.
But then I see deception and envy came up the next card. Okay, so we're starting to flavor this a little bit.
Let's not get too political or in that rabbit hole.
How can we not do? Okay,
This needs to be,
no matter who is elected, I think the energy of November is going to be,
that could be either, I think.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No matter what
Is-
happens,
is
yes.
that the energy of November is going to be deception and envy, I feel like. And there's, which really sucks because it's Thanksgiving. Like it's the, it's fall, it's, the reaping of the harvest. It's all this kind of good stuff and moving into December. And I think that it's a strong reminder that we realize, no matter what happens, we're so fragmented still that there's going to be this feeling of distrust and deceit. And like that theme is, I'm hoping it's going to be, if it's going to be in existence, that it's strong in November and that we get worn out and leave it behind.
Right.
Because there's I'm not sure about the envy part, but the deception to me makes a lot of sense. But I am going to say, because I did see this other card and I did indicate that for me that represented Trump. So I think there's going to be a very strong pull that he's going to be feeling and putting that out strongly. And I'm not saying, like for or against or anything like that. I just think I think we all know it's going to be wonky. It's going to be a wonky month. And the thing is, all of this is going to transcend into our relationships. And we need to work very, very diligently at not allowing it to do that.
correct.
Because
Correct.
that's the political game. Everyone still gets up the next day and has to, go to work and do all the things you do in your business and, and personal relationships. And this whole thing that's layering over it, it's just, wait, I don't even want to say it's layering over it. Screw that. It is a layer, and you can stomp on it and ignore it and just say, screw that. I'm going to live in the space of peace and move forward and like moving humanity forward, moving your life forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Because they tell us all the time with any kind of 3D chaos that's
Yeah.
what 3D
Yeah.
is all about. It's happened for hundreds and thousands of years. It's going to happen for hundreds and thousands of years in the future. So it doesn't matter what's happening. It's just that game,
yeah, it's
right?
the- it's
just
the
the game.
I just had to do one more because I was like, am I on the right track? And it's light. Yay!
I love that. So after the deception and we get through all of that nonsense and we pull ourselves up, it's into the light. But this makes so much sense. It's like, oh, this is what I'm getting from that authority. It's about being sovereign in your own authority because everybody else, all the other systems, whether it's medical systems, educational systems, government, politics, they want to be the authority
Entertainment.
figure. Yes, in your life. They're all professing to know more than you do and to be the one you listen to. But it's about turning the authority into self.
Yes.
And getting through the deception and then into the light. Oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful message. You pulled the exact
Look at
perfect
her.
cards.
Look at her.
Those are the perfect cards for November.
Well, and I think whenever you see someone on the screen who's trying to influence you, say one thing or another, just remember they have to wake up in the morning. They're groggy. They're having to get through their day. They might get a paper cut. They might have issues
human.
going on in their family. Yeah, they're just freaking human. And they might have more information that's fed to them. They don't necessarily go out and gather. They're not omniscient.
Right.
So
Nobody knows more about yourself than you do.
Right.
yeah,
Right?
you're the only one that walks in your shoes.
The funny thing about that word authority, I cannot ever hear
No.
that, you know what I'm going to say?
Oh, go ahead.
South Park.
Authority.
Respect my
Authority.
Yes.
I can hear that little Yankee voice in there. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
it's hilarious. Okay, so we're going to see what archetype is
Oh,
going to
you're
be.
going to do yours next? Okay.
I think this will go with that.
Okay.
So we'll see what kind of archetype is coming up for November. Visionary. And of course, the gold yellowish ones are hard to read. So let me see, because it's dim light in here. Light attributes. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see that with this
You want me to do it?
light. Yeah.
Let's see if I can.
Do you see how light it is against that? The contrast is not very good
Yeah, but I got
on
it.
that card.
Light attributes.
Well, you are a few years younger than me, so go ahead. So you probably can see it better.
How old are you?
Guess what? My birthday's in 2 weeks. I'll be the big 6-0. You're a few behind me.
No,
Aren't you?
No, I'm going to be 60 in March.
Oh, a few months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
Because you're a
the
few months
baby.
older. Yeah, you are.
I'm the baby.
He just had his birthday.
I just had mine. 56.
Yesterday.
Big 6.
56.
Okay. Light attributes.
Thank you.
Capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others. Willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. Oh, I love this. Now, that's the light attributes of the visionary. The shadow attributes, for you unhealed heathens. No. Anyway, selling insights to the highest bidder. Ooh, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. Don't do that.
Right.
Own it.
Yeah.
Yep. Go for the light attributes. So much nicer. Capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others. That's faith.
Yeah.
That is what's going to be necessary, because what it's going to look like is a shit show.
Yep.
November's going to look like a shit show. And you're going to
Are
have
we
to
allowed
hold
to say that? I don't know.
I think we're allowed to say it. Shit show. There. Said it twice.
3 times, I think, because I said it
If this
twice.
episode doesn't air, you'll know why.
And they won't see it.
Right.
But
Don't lose that card. Don't lose that card.
Yeah, I love the visionary. That is, oh my God, that's wonderful.
You're going to have to hold that vision. You have a vision, all of you. If you're watching this show, then you know where we are headed.
Yeah.
And so hold that vision of the new earth that's going to be overlaid over the old one in a different dimension. We're not going anywhere. It might feel like we're going somewhere, but hold that vision for November and onward.
All right. I'm doing a 3-card on Trust Your Vibes.
Lord.
And I already pulled my card, but I want you to pull a card and you to pull a card, and then we're going to.
Getting,
But don't tip it over. Don't look at it. Just pull it.
Don't
and just,
look at it?
Yeah,
Don't
don't look
tip
at
it
it.
over?
Yeah, don't look at it. Don't call it out.
Do you not want me to look
I
at
know
it?
he's
I
making,
want you to pull it, and then I want to.
Do you want me to give it back to you?
Yes.
Okay. You didn't say that. You just
we
said
don't know this
Allison?
new procedure.
This is my procedure.
What is this again?
We have no
Trust
rules.
your vibes?
Trust your vibes. We have no rules here. We're playing by our own rules. That's how life should be lived.
Well, that's the sandbox.
The
That's what
last
you're supposed
time,
to do.
Right.
I don't know if some of our clever, frequent
Observers?
viewers noticed, but we had one of the same cards twice. It was the wrong card because,
Sorry,
because-
I can't be perfect on all things. You know,
so I'm trying to
what do
take
you
better
want?
notes, trying to take better notes here.
I have one thing that I do fine, and that's channeling. Everything else, well, you might get part of it.
You
so.
do a lot of things.
You can't
fine.
say
You're a
fine.
good guy.
That's a southern fine.
You're a good guy.
All right. Where do we begin? All right. So trust your vibes. So the card that I had pulled is mentors and role models. I think this
Ooh.
actually all fits very
Right?
well.
Mhm.
All
I love how that
yeah,
happens.
it threads very well into
Love how
this.
that
So Quick question, number 9, what does that represent in the whole angel thing?
New beginnings. Yep.
Go figure. Card
The end of a cycle and the new
How
is
did you
coming.
know that so quickly? That's very good.
years of just, she's an
Yeah,
encyclopedia.
Allison.
So this is
It's really actually closure because the new beginning.
new
is on the
beginning.
way. Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is card number 8.
Wait. What's your last name?
Encyclopedia Brown? Is that what you're going to say?
Okay.
Respect my
Well,
authority.
I said Encyclopedia Allison, and then I'm going, wait a
Wait a
second.
minute, what's her last name? Oh, ding, ding, ding. Anyway, this is card number 18, and that's why I asked her about number 9. Combine the two, you get 9. So this is the new beginnings, right? Mentors and role models. And what where do I begin with that? So I've got a lot that's kind of filtering in, but the one thing that I do see is there's no other, and Allison alluded to it, and I think we were talking about it here, is that there's no other true mentor or role model other than yourself. It isn't to look outside of yourself for those role models. It's really to do that reflection inward. And it is interesting because the imagery on the card is a flashlight, looks like a flashlight, a person standing inside of that beaming out light. The sun and the moon are in that, and it looks like a little drink that's on the side, or maybe it's a battery. No, it's a battery, and it's your heart. So yeah, so it's that inner reflection that's shining outward, and that's the change. And with the new beginnings, that's exactly what we're moving into is new beginnings, regardless of the what's coming in November, the election or whatever. But we're moving into, as the collective is saying, this ascension, and we're moving into this new beginning of understanding our dimensional self. So I think that's very fitting for where we're moving, especially with the other series of cards we pulled. And then the one that Allison pulled, stay in your own skin. Ooh.
That's an interesting way to say it, right?
And that's a number 8 if you combine the numbers. So number 8, encyclopedia.
8's money,
There you go.
manifestation,
Manifestation. Yeah.
infinity.
So the symbology around this, there's a lot. Whew.
Well, it's almost
Stay
like there's
in your
a
own.
lot happening.
Is that a life preserver? on
There is. There's a
too?
life preserver. There's an open window. Looks like a dinosaur, an anchor, some flowers. I don't know what that is.
Okay, but
Water.
what stands out?
I know,
to you?
that's what I'm getting to that. So staying in your own skin, this is going along with that whole mentor and role model. It's really the sovereign self. This is the aspect of the sovereign self. And knowing that no matter whatever outcomes are out in the future, you have your own authority to, there's that word again. You have your own authority to control your destiny, and to save yourself. I'm going to use some of the symbology here, to save yourself, to anchor yourself or ground yourself in the reality that you're in, and and take moments in the chair. I'll use the chair as a reflection point. Take moments to reflect upon that time of being a sovereign being in this chaotic world. I mean, don't be part of the chaos, but be a light in the chaos. Back to the roles and mentors and role models, being a light shining out into the world in your own sovereignty, so that others can see it, so that they can begin to see themselves in that aspect of roles and mentors and role models. And then Samantha's instant feedback. Ooh. And that is a pure card number 9. So that
Wow.
again, so we got 2 9s. So outcomes.
And what was the
changing,
number of the other one?
an 8,
And 9 is 18, which brings you back to a 9.
9. So ultimately, new beginnings. So what is this? Instant feedback. What am I getting from that? Oh, I like the question mark on this. So there's a big question mark on one side. It leaves a lot to interpretation. Your existence obviously leaves a lot to the interpretation. So you do have a lot of questions. You do have a lot of questions of what you're contemplating right now, and you're not seeing that there's going to be a new beginning coming up, but there is constant feedback that is happening all around you to show you this new beginning that's on the horizon. There's many signs, and as I'm looking across these cards, there's a number of different signs. So a lot of different symbols in your life that are pointing you in a direction, that are giving you feedback, showing you that you have a new beginning, and that happens today. Don't worry about what happens in a week or a month. It's right today. It's that moment right here in front of you that changes, and is that instant feedback of change, that you are a divine being. And again, back to sovereignty, and a role model for yourself that then shines out to the world. So, yeah.
That's so interesting.
I like, you mentioned the chair and the reflection and stuff. And it's like, if you stop running, 30 miles an hour, and that's pretty fast.
300 miles an hour? Yeah.
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 Anyway, that you would get that instant feedback. I'm like, because it's being given to you all the time. It's whether you're in the receiving mode of it.
Right.
And that's the message yesterday. I was talking to Allison about this. We were out to dinner last night, and I told her, I said, I'm feeling this sense that I need to slow down, right? And you bring it up all the time. It's the slow down to speed up, and it's, and I guess what spurred this on for me is we've been working with a client here recently. A higher self-channeling, and then a mentoring session with them. And now we're going to have another higher self-channeling with them. But this gentleman is so measured and just so calm and peaceful in everything. When he talks, it's almost guru-ish, right?
Wow.
It's that you sense that peace and that calm and that temper, and it's just that. And I see that, and I see that, and I want to reflect that back out in the world. But I'm like, my life is just so, like, I get so excited about all this stuff that I can't slow myself down to be, I can't be all the time.
Yeah, and part of it is a personality, right?
Yeah.
But then part of it is the security and the trust and the surrender that you have when you know everything is taken care of. So you don't have to rush around here and there trying to make decisions or feeling scattered or whatever. Just slow down and know that everything is being prepared. And so if something's not happening as fast as you want it, no, the puzzle pieces aren't put together yet. Things are still being moved around on the board in your favor. And I wanted to say something about this feedback, because feedback, have you all noticed, feedback is getting quicker.
The instant manifestation.
The lessons, well, instant manifestation, but lessons.
Oh, right.
Well, like I told you on the way up, which I'm not going to bring it up now, but I had something happen while I was in the car, thoughts that were occurring to me. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is what you need to pay attention to. And I'm just like, wow, like that's pretty cool.
The lessons, like if you're going to get a hand slap from the universe, it comes really quick.
Yeah.
It used to be, it would take years of being kicked in the butt before you figured it out. Then I noticed several years ago when I first started on this path, it would take about a week, like something terrible would happen, and it would take me about a week to process that lesson and figure it out, which I thought was really quick. Now it's almost instantaneous. It's like if I say something wrong, bad, whatever, if I do something, I get kicked in the pants immediately. And it's like, automatically I get my hand slapped. And I'm like, okay, get me back on the path. You're right.
Yeah,
so the feedback is instantaneous. Sometimes it just takes us to slow down and listen, like you said.
Yeah. It's very
Beautiful.
interesting.
All right.
Well,
Let's do another round.
Okay, what are we doing this time?
Are you going to want these to be set out somewhere?
Are you going to use this deck again?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just set it on
leave it
top
up?
of the
Just
deck.
set it
Okay,
on
there
top
we
of the deck. Yep. Just set it on.
otherwise-
Or pull it out.
He's going to get so confused
You don't-
over which one.
Leave it on.
Oh.
Leave it on. Don't put it in the box, but put it on top. Yep.
What's in the box? Sorry. Had to.
You guys get to see the logistics that happens
Hey,
behind the scenes.
it's a
usually.
live show. Well, recorded live.
Oh, it is. Yes.
Well, then I'll go for Starseed.
You want that
Starseeds?
one?
Or do you want
It's
angel?
mine. Nope,
Angel
it's
answers.
mine now.
It's mine. Okay.
This is just my favorite, my go-to. I love this one.
Yeah, it is.
Ooh,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah, those are nice. I like those a
And
lot.
once again, if you didn't see it last time,
So while we're shuffling,
can't do mine because it would look like that.
Right.
did you know that you can, there's a way to, that box is built that way for a reason. There's some sort of way you put it together so that you can hold the card in it. Let me see the
Like
box for a
maybe
minute.
it's right here.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Nope.
Put the box, let me see.
Give her the
Wait.
damn
It's a live. It's a live
Because
show.
this is
People.
unique and cool and clever, if I can remember how it did. Oh, here, look, there's a picture. See if your eyes can see that picture. Do you see, oh, is that not a picture?
That's just,
Bunch of
it's
old
just a
people.
series of cards.
Yes.
No, there's a
But
way
it made
to.
you happy.
Maria knows how to do this. Maria, where are you? Send me some,
Vibes.
some of you guys probably know
You're not
too.
spatial, are you?
I think maybe it's just as simple as putting the card. I wish I could show everybody
Oh,
because
that's
it's,
good. Except,
Anyhow.
yeah, I mean, it's like, to what end?
it's
Well,
just
I'm-
a neat gimmicky little box there. So.
While everyone's shuffling and trying to figure out how to assemble a box, I'll share a little
general message.
personal
share a ditty?
share a little personal experience I had this week. So,
Do I know about this?
He's sharing.
I don't know. Maybe you do.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
So
Sometimes he forgets to tell me things.
I do. I had a dental appointment this week for just a routine
Yeah,
thing.
you did pretty well.
Yeah, for a routine thing, which was a crown replacement and a cavity fill or replacement. The filling was bad, so they had to replace it, which is not a big deal. I've had these before, and I think we've mentioned this before. I'm one of these types of guys that I do not take the numbing agent. They don't numb me up. They just go in and replace the crown and scoop out the old filling and do their thing. It doesn't bother me. Well, he gets in there and he pops the old crown off and he's in there digging around and grinding out stuff.
Digging around, you said, right?
Yeah, digging around. What do you think I said? Anyway, so then he stops and he's looking and he asks for the assistant's phone to take some pictures.
There's your first sign.
Right. And then I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this is not going to turn out well.
Which is probably around the time I received a text at work that said,
No, that was like 15 minutes later.
oh, that said, send me positive
so-
energy, but don't worry.
Right. Nothing wrong. I'll let you know.
Who would do that?
Well, because he didn't have his camera, so he didn't have his phone with him. That's how he takes some pictures. So I don't know. It's
You went to a budget dentist.
no,
Oh,
no.
actually,
He's really nice.
It's
He's
a nice
really good.
brand new
yeah.
facility, high-end stuff over here.
He
But
takes pictures with the phone. Go ahead.
well, anyway, I don't know. I didn't
That's a
question.
first.
I didn't question that. I don't know if there's any ethical.
He's selling the pictures of your teeth on the
Right,
internet.
exactly. On his OnlyFans page, right? So
Can you imagine like the auto uploads to
Wow,
Google
this
Photos?
is-
It's all these
this is going off
Some
the rails.
people-
Anyway, I'm trying to
Like
stay on
to-
track here.
Well, nobody uses a cell phone to take a like I would at home to go, oh my God, is this serious?
Hey.
But a dentist doesn't. He's got like the camera thing that goes down. That like
No,
anyway, go
I
ahead.
don't know. I'll ask him in 2 weeks,
Ask
in a
him
week
next
when I go in for my follow-up. Anyway,
We're derailing his
I know.
Sorry.
So he stops and he tells me, he goes, well, you don't have enough tooth left to put a crown back on it. I mean, I could, but the likelihood of it breaking off is very high. I said, great. What's my other option? He said, well, a dental implant. I'm like, oh, really? What's that involve? He said, well, we got to extract the tooth. Then we got to fill it with cadaver bone. And then we got to suture it up. And then you got to come back in 3 months. Then we put a post in. Then you come back in 3 months. And then we put the tooth in. I'm like, oh boy. So as soon as he said that, I'm very good about my energy. I'm very good about keeping myself level-headed and maintained. I literally had a moment of panic and fear settle in. It was uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable because I didn't expect that to happen, but it was a moment of, oh boy, this is going to be very invasive and I wasn't expecting this. So I had to deal with it. And it was a bit emotional. It was a bit, and I don't know why it was emotional, but it was emotional. And so I had to use the restroom. So while I was in the restroom, I
Throw it.
I set my energy boundaries. I did everything that I did everything that we've talked about on this podcast and in our small groups of setting the energy boundary for the physician, for the assistant, all the tools, the people who handled the tools before they did, whoever cleaned them, whoever cleaned the room. I mean, everything down to whoever last turned off the lights in the office.
And the assistant's phone being germ-free.
No, exactly. So, but, and it was just interesting. So it was one of those moments where I had to, actually utilize the tools that we've talked about over and over again. And it went well. It went well. Although he did mention that, because it was a root canal tooth, he said that was one of the toughest extractions that she's ever done. And I could tell because his muscles were quaking while he was pulling on that tooth. So that tells you how strong this guy is. Anyway, I say all that to say this, that the very next morning, I believe it was, as I'm sitting in the kitchen, it was like somebody switched on my energy resources. Like it was like a channel of energy was reawakened in my body. I felt like I did back when I first started awakening. I was getting like downloads. My body was vibrating from head to toe. I was just tingling everywhere. And then I had emotion like joy and love and peace and all of this just flowing in. And I'm just sitting there going, why am I weeping? Why am I sitting here eating my egg sandwich and I'm saying, why am I weeping? You know, it was just this weird whole thing. And I'm like, that tooth somehow was connected to, because what I've processed so far, and I'm sure we'll channel this week, you'll probably ask this when our personal challenge, what was the purpose of that? But there was an abscess in that.
He didn't say that, but you.
No, he did say. He said He said when I got in there, I knew there was some deterioration of the root canal on top underneath the crown. That's why we were replacing it. But he said it was being obscured and I couldn't see all the way down. So there was an abscess that was going all the way down into the root canal tooth. And so I'll say that 2 months prior to this, maybe even 3 months prior to this, I was feeling a low ache. Nothing bad, I just thought, well, it's just whatever. Well, now I'm pretty sure that cavity was causing some sort of energetic interference and maybe even physical interference in my energy cycles, in my energy balance, that once it was extracted out of my face, it released and opened that energy center up. Because ever since that, I've been like dialed in. Like my energy's been, like last night, this idea came about what we want to move into next.
Yeah.
And I was just like vibrating, like off the chain. I was like getting all emotional again, like, yes, we need to do this. And yeah, it's insane. So.
And we do know, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, for anybody that's out there that may have a slight ache somewhere, whether it's in your teeth, whether it's in your body, energy blocks are real.
Yeah.
Tune into it. Get some work done. Acupuncture, massage, whatever it might be, to release that energy and get that energy flowing and moving. Because I have been doing acupuncture again. And yeah, so there's a lot that's going on. And the energy now is much higher.
Similar to acupuncture, each tooth has some sort of meaning, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
our friend Judy, of course, sent us the upper and lower pictures and what they meant. Remember, because you looked in, I think it was like digestive.
I didn't look at it. You told me about
liver or
it. I
something.
wasn't. You were looking at it. Yeah.
So that's another rabbit hole if you guys want to dive into that. But all right.
Yeah.
Wow. So sorry,
That
but
was a nice tangent.
I hope that, hopefully that helps people. So. I didn't mean to get graphic, but that's been my week.
Wow. That's pretty fascinating.
It was. It still is very fascinating to me how it all changed my entire energy cycle.
It is. That's the part I'm curious about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll share some more information if we get it. I thought you didn't want me to ask about it, so I wasn't going to ask about it.
I know.
I'm not gonna ask
I
if
know.
you
I
don't
say
want me
don't
to
ask,
ask.
but you won't ask specifically that question. You'll ask it in a
No,
general.
I won't if you don't want me to investigate.
But would he know? Well, yeah, recorded.
It's
a trust thing.
That's
It's
exactly
ethical.
right.
That's ethical.
That's exactly right. No, he would not know.
No, I wouldn't.
But in order to be a better wife and be able to respond to your needs, she has to ask.
So I
certain
write those things down when he talks throughout the week or whatever.
yeah.
But if he specifically
If
says,
I specifically say don't ask
that, then I won't
about
ask
it,
about
but the more I go along with it, the more as the days go on, I'm like, yeah, this would be interesting to maybe not necessarily not the tooth aspect, but what energetically took place.
Right.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. All right. All right. Sam,
Me first?
you're up first.
Okay.
We'll just go in the same
And we're
order.
only
How about
picking one card, right? I did the clarification.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll do
So
that.
this is intended for someone in the audience or several members of the audience, because a lot of times they piggyback.
Somebody will resonate with this message.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do this one. See, now I saw this one, just like I did the other one.
Having
It's
premonition stuff.
Yeah, it's no. I mean, I saw
As you're
it, like,
flipping through 'em? Yeah.
like none of them stood out, but this one did.
Well, that's what I mean. It's psychically you're kind of picking up.
Yeah, it's weird because you guys got to understand. Like you sit here and you shuffle. Like I looked at the deck, and then you sit there and you shuffle, and then you spread them out, and then you decide which one, and you get drawn just to pick one up. And I've done readings where I'm doing all the houses and stuff, and I will continue to pick up the same series of cards, and they're coming from 2 decks. They're all mixed up, and I'm like, the cards don't lie. I can't, like, this is what your message is. You know, it's like the craziest thing. Excuse me. Okay, so this is, I'll show you the picture. Okay. Are you going to put the Okay.
This time I'll try to do it right.
Empathic starseed. Yes, please do.
Thank you.
Energetic sovereignty.
Ooh.
Absorbing what's not yours. Ooh. Okay.
That ties in also.
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
to-
with the whole thing. Going back to, hold on, I want to look at this just real quick because this is, I love this because it's showing a mirror, and it's like you can see, like the person is looking into the mirror. It's a very interesting painting. But the person's looking in the mirror, but it's like they just see a little bit of the haze of their reflection. So for me, what this is saying is like, yes, you're recognizing what you're seeing through it, but it's like you don't need to label it. You don't need to own it. You don't need to allow it to become concrete and solid. Keep it that sort of fuzzy, whatever. Acknowledge that, okay, that exists in a reality, like through the looking glass, it exists. But on your side of the looking glass, that doesn't mean that you have to own it, take it in, and all that. So to be aware, but that you don't have to carry it around with you. So that's what that means to me.
Beautiful.
Cool.
We talk about that a lot in terms of empaths and whether that's a gift or a curse, because the empath has difficulty shopping at Walmart, for example. But when you look at it more like a
Not
gift,
unless they practice.
Yeah.
right, that's my point. So if once they hone their own energy field and learn how to hold their own container and not take it in, like you're saying. So,
Yeah.
so to be able to see it but not own it as yours is very valuable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super valuable for you because it's information coming in to,
Yeah.
into you.
Well, and I know I've explained this before to a client who sought me out, where she's a therapist, and she realizes she's using her empathic abilities to feel out people, but she's getting so exhausted by the end of the day. And I said, you can still feel it out, but not take it into your core being.
Yes.
So that, so like, and she's like, well, how do I adjust that filter? And I'm like, you just put the intention out there, and it's practice, and you'll.
Yeah, you can use some visualization, and you can do different things. I mean, just initially, and this is the thing, is like, we were, again, back to the conversation I was having before we started recording with some friends of mine about this collaborative effort we're going to do, and this gentleman was expressing something about how do you do these these rituals that you used at Bible. I'm like, well, I only use the rituals when I'm in this space. I used to use them all the time, but the rituals are something for a visualization that gets your focus point in line. But when you get to a point now, for myself, the only time I use my rituals for channeling, like setting the container and doing some smudging and a little mantra that I have and all these different things, is in this space. Because this space was specifically designed to be a energy center point. And I want to honor it that way. But we did an event, and we had some clients while we're away from the house. I don't have this energetic container. So I do something different. I just take a quick 30 seconds in my head of visualization, and that's it. That's my ritual. I don't go through this whole maceration of different things because I don't have the tools at hand. Do we need to have those? Do we need to do those things? I can drop into a channel if I need to drop into a channel, and they're always there. They're always present. It just helps our human facade get a focal point of where we need to go
Set
to.
an intention. to do
Yeah.
that.
Set the intention.
Very good. All right. So this is a message from James Van Prague's Soul Journey. For someone in the audience or several in the audience. Ooh, I like this. Somebody needs peace. And you're going to put the card up.
A whole bunch of people.
I am a being of love and I release all negative energy. That is a mantra in itself. And it doesn't really even need much of an interpretation in terms of my intuition because it's quite self-evident that in November, and I think really moving forward after that, we have to remind ourselves that we are love. We are love. And create that container of love around ourselves so that all the noise of the outside can get buffered and kind of bounce back to where it belongs. Remaining in peace. Yeah.
I think that if you guys are smart, you'll stop the video and take a screenshot and then print out that image and put it up. Because it's even the when looking at this, the way the mandala is that?
Mandala.
When you look at it, it kind of sucks you in and it gets you into more of a singular focus, like I don't want to say putting blinders on because, you should be aware, but it is kind of cutting out the noise. Yeah.
Yes.
I am a being of love. And even just saying that. And I release all negative energy. So
it's like what what Blossom Goodchild's people say, I am the light, I am the love, I'm the truth.
I am.
Yeah, it's along the line of that.
What's interesting though too, I mean, what it comes to me is this theme of sovereignty. I mean, I said it wasn't in my cards, but that's the energy that I had. And then when your card had sovereignty in it, you spoke. And now it's talking about the sovereign being of our existence.
Who we are at our
Exactly.
core.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. All right.
That's
All
going to
right.
be the message for November.
All right.
I love it. Just goes to show how guided we are, how protected we are, how looked after and cared for we are, that our guides, look, just by,
Oh, look at him.
Just-
tell me you picked up the sovereignty card.
No, that's what I thought I was going to be.
just by having these messages that align and make so much sense, it goes to show you that they're watching what's happening and they care for us. And it's just reassuring and
They
comforting.
do. Yep. Okay.
Go ahead.
What are you yucking about?
So this is Angel Answers by Doreen Vitru and Radney
Radley.
Valentine.
Radley Valentine. Angel Answers.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Within the next few weeks.
Okay.
I mean, how poignant, right? Within the next few weeks.
What?
Just
That's
whatever, all these messages?
What's about to come. I mean, and I look at,
Okay, who asked the question out there that he just answered?
right?
That's a good point.
That somebody was asking a question
When?
going, I need them to answer this for
right.
me.
It's greater than all the political minutia that's taking place, right? And that's what's taking place in the next few weeks on our human plane. But this is there is somebody that you're missing the greater message of what's going to take place in your life in the next few weeks because of the chaos and the clutter and the noise of everything else that's in front of you. And so, and it is interesting because as I'm looking at the card, there's like a vista. There's a lot of people and whatever, just kind of down in the little valley area and whatever, but there's a big vista out in front, and that's your answer. It's out in front of you. It's in this. There's a grand view out in front of you, and the question that you've been asking yourself and looking for answers and looking to, your angels and your higher self and everybody else, for higher guidance. Your answer is going to be in front of you in a few weeks, but you're having a hard time discerning that because of your human life, your human activities, the human noise that's taking place. So it's time to take and find yourself in a quiet place with this grand vista, someplace where you can lose all of the noise and begin to see what's approaching in these coming weeks, because it's greater than anything that's going to take place on the human plane. It's going to take place on a divine plane, and it's specifically for you, for you and an evolution of your existence. Think of it as an awakening, but it's more grand than an awakening. And it could be even, ooh, yeah, that's interesting. Because I instantly got the word ascension. So it could be that this is for several that are jumping over that, ooh.
Goosebumps.
Yep.
Good God.
So it's, if you can see my hairs, they're like literally
Yes.
all on end. Yeah. So this is for a number of people that are actually on that threshold of the ascension. And right now you don't see that because of the noise and clutter that's in front of you because of the human activities, but it is that you're going to be stepping over.
I can't wait to hear. You guys let us know how this resonates with you. I love to read the comments and find out who that was for if you want to share.
I wonder if it's, I'm not going to say their name, but a certain individual who's ill at the moment.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, I think it applies to a bunch of people, not just one.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that's like really, okay, cool.
Yep.
And I think there's a broader message for everybody, which is
Oh yeah.
don't miss the beautiful nuggets that are happening all around you
Right.
because you're so enmeshed in the crud. Don't let the good stuff pass you by because it's out there. If you're willing to see it, it's out there. Look for it.
Yeah, like don't pass up the camaraderie and so forth
Right.
of gathering for Thanksgiving.
Right.
Because someone doesn't feel the way you feel or believe the way you do. Like you just got to get over yourself if you're going there. Like just, and I get it. If on the other side, the people are feeling that way, that's a tough one. And you don't need to be abusive and put yourself in that situation. But don't be that person.
We're here to change our projection of ourselves in the world, and and be the catalyst for change for others. And sometimes it does take, like what you're saying, is to sometimes step into those uncomfortable moments. And it isn't that you have to do anything or say anything. It's just being present there. And you might have to be, as David Letterman would say, you just have to play stupid human tricks for a little bit, but be in your divine
miss
essence,
Letterman.
right? Be in your divine essence the entire time while you're sitting with family that have no clue, but you're providing a needed, moment of energy, and their divine essence thanks you for that, even though their humanness may not. So.
For sure. Absolutely. That's a good point. And that's a beautiful note to end on. Hopefully this was helpful. It was a lot of fun for us. I hope it's as much fun for you guys, but please let us know those connections because it's so much fun to read about in the comments. Any other announcements? Anything going on?
I will do a self-plug for myself.
Oh, the Twitter? No, I mean, sorry.
Yeah,
Not
the
Twitter.
TikTok. So if you want to see some more of the world according to Will Brown.
No, the world. That too.
It is, yeah. So I do. So I've been posting some of my channeling stuff, but I've also been posting just some of my brain dumps, my personal thoughts on stuff over on TikTok. I'm experimenting just to see how it goes, because it might all disappear at the beginning of the year, according to our government. So who knows where that's going? But if you'd like to join me over there, have a look. Have a look-see. I think it's Will Brown the Collective is my handle over there. So.
And in the meantime, I'm sorry.
And I have my Zen Tarot.
Oh yeah.
Zen Tarot.
Zen Tarot, and it's all about developing that love language between you and your guides, and it's going to go real deep. Like tarots can be pretty basic.
Yeah.
It can be really basic, but this is kind of to help you develop your own symbology, your own love language with the cards so that you can have that greater connection with your guides. So that's going to be starting January 7th.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm putting the information out for that.
Cool.
Lovely.
Super excited about it.
And before you leave, click on that little thumbs up down there, share, do all the things, and we will see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.